This episode of Voice Over Par Charcha is powered by voicesbazaar.com, India's premium audio agency.
It was actually in drama school that I discovered that, I didn't come out of there the best actor or anything, but it was in drama school that I discovered that my forte and my strength was voice. So Speakology is a workshop that deals in the basic building blocks for voice and speech, the fundamental skills, the essential skills. I call it the ABCD. Another important aspect I encourage is understanding why you speak the way you speak, the psychology behind it, the factors that affect the way you speak, the influences that you've had on your life.
So welcome to another super special episode of Voice Over Par Charcha. In this episode, we have a seasoned award-winning voice artist, an actor, dubbing director, and a voice coach. As a voice artist, specifically in dubbing, he has lent his voice for the famous Winnie the Pooh character and several other Disney characters, including Roger Rabbit in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. He has been the English language dubbing director of few Netflix web series, for example like Rana Naidu, Kohra, Kala Pani, Cat, Ray, and the list goes on. As an actor, he has appeared in web series, few examples like Criminal Justice, Scam 1992, Inside Edge, and movies like Shamita, Batla House, Kabil, Chapak, and many more. So, to my viewers, to my listeners, to my subscribers, it's a great honor to have Mr. Asif Ali Beg on Voice Over Par Charcha. So, sir, आपका बहुत हार्दिक स्वागत है Voice Over Par Charcha में.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for that happy introduction.
So, sir, before we start off, सबसे पहले we would like to know your story of getting into performing arts. वो सबसे पहले कहानी को हम जानना चाहेंगे before we move on to voice acting at a lot of aspects.
Sure. So actually, my mom tells me I was a performer the minute I popped out of her stomach. So out of her womb. So I've been on stage since I was in school, really. I was on stage at least thrice a year for dramatics, singing, elocution, debates, etc. So it was a very natural thing for me. I really cannot do anything else. Although by some strange turn of fate, I studied physics in college, and I knew nothing of physics then, and I know nothing of physics. It was a waste of 5 years, because by that time I was already singing with a band. I used to sing Western pop music. I was a pop singer, and through that I developed this obsession with theater and the stage. So I've been doing it ever since, and I was very lucky that in the year 2000, I was 37 years old then. I got a scholarship to study acting in London, and I felt that was finally my education.
Okay, so may I know the duration of that where you went to London, like the specific course?
Yeah, so that was a 1 year postgraduate diploma in acting. I wanted to do only 1 year because, like I said, I was 37 years old, so I couldn't give up 3 years of my life. A. B is I couldn't afford to pay for 3 years. I got a scholarship, but even the scholarship that I got was not for the whole year. It was just for one term. After that, I ghased out in McDonald's in London making burgers in the kitchen, and I paid my way through drama school.
Okay, so by tentatively by 2001, 2002, you came back to Mumbai.
Yes, 2002 I came back. I didn't want to come back, I'll be very honest. I wanted to stay back in London because I love London, and I wanted to experience what it was like to work in the professional arena over there. And I did get a part in a big play, but I couldn't get a visa. I couldn't get a visa to work there. Also, it was the year of 9/11, and with a name like Asif Ali Beg, no chance in hell. But I was happy to come back, because as soon as I came back, work was good. I got a lot of work. In fact, my work life got a lot better, when I came back after drama school.
Okay, so after coming back, your work like theater, acting, that all started.
Well, I was already working before I went to drama school, but it got even better. And it was actually in drama school that I discovered that, I didn't come out of there the best actor or anything, but it was in drama school that I discovered that my forte and my strength was voice. So I decided that was something that I would want to share with people when I came back here, aspiring actors, aspiring voiceover artists, and just people who wanted to improve their communication and vocal skills.
So may I know your journey to voice acting side by side, वो भी किस तरह से उसका हम कहानी जानना चाहेंगे.
So in about like I said, I used to be a pop singer. And in the late 90s, there was this phase of Hindi pop music. So I had a band called Mantra, and we had released our own album of Hindi pop music, and we were fairly popular on Channel V and MTV at that time. So I got a call from someone asking me to audition for the singing voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
You know, the Disney character Winnie the Pooh. Yes. So when I went to the studio, I auditioned for the part. And while she listened to me singing, she asked me whether I would be interested in auditioning also for the dialogue. So I said, see, I've never done this before and my Hindi is not great. Of course, I was auditioning in Hindi. She said, no, why don't you just try? So I tried it and I got the part. And it's very interesting because my Hindi was weak, but my Hindi now is much better thanks to an American company called Disney. But that started me on my that started me on my journey with voice dubbing and voice acting. You know, it was through music, it was through my singing.
So
and then of
singing.
course one thing led to another. Yes.
Okay, so the amalgamation of singing, theater, and then that led you towards dubbing and voice acting, right?
Mm-hmm. I think all of these, none of these are isolated. They are all connected.
Connected, yes.
Yeah.
I truly understand. Even in singing, like the beats, the rhythm, the sense of of course, what I understand as a layman, that dubbing is all about expressions and timing. So वो चीज कहीं ना कहीं उसका एक बहुत बड़ा benefit रहता है.
Well, of course, to be a voice actor, to do voice dubbing. See, I don't do voiceovers for commercials, for advertising. I don't do things like this part of the program is brought to you by. I don't do those kind of things because I don't have that kind of voice. So I do voice acting, and for that, primarily the first thing is you need to be an actor. You need to understand emotion, the nuances of performance. You need to be able to modulate your voice.
True.
Because here we are, when we dub in Hindi, we are basically mimicking what is already coming from the West.
Yes,
whether it's from the UK or the US. You know, so we just have to try and match the tonal quality of the character that we are dubbing for. And then another very, very important skill as a dubbing artist is lip sync.
Yes.
So you need to be able to pause where the character is pausing, you know, and you need, if there is a little breath before they say the line, you need to be able to, oh, what are you doing? Ye tum kya kar rahe ho?
Yes.
You need to be able to also be able to mimic that skill, which is quite challenging. And there are some dubbing artists who can do that in their sleep.
So, of course, simultaneously, there are too many things going on while dubbing, while voice acting and matching the timing and all. So, sir, I would like to just ask about this particular aspect, that even in your, of course, we are connected on LinkedIn. There is a specific term I've heard several times, and that is speakology. That, of course, it's understood what it is. But as a layman, you know, or everybody who's listening to this show or watching this show, exactly kya hai, number one, speakology, and about the workshops and trainings you do for voice acting and also, if you can elaborate on that.
Absolutely. So speakology is something that's very, very dear to my heart. It's like I just told you, it's something that I discovered I wanted to do when I was in drama school. So speakology is a workshop that deals in the basic building blocks for voice and speech, the fundamental skills, the essential skills. I call it the ABCD. You cannot make a sentence unless you learn your ABCD first.
Yes.
And what is that ABCD? What is that ABCD? The ABCD is breathing technique. I myself was born with a respiratory disorder, and I've always suffered from shortness of breath. So if there was a very long sentence, I would lose my breath. You know, things like that. Yeah. But in drama, of course, because I knew nothing about breathing technique. But in drama school, I learned the correct breathing technique, and I learned the importance of breathing technique. So that is something that I teach. And most of us, 99% of us are breathing wrong. Yeah. Then, because And why is breathing technique important? Because it's really the foundation on which you build everything else. A lot of people who sign up for my class say, "Sir, I speak too fast. Sir, I speak too slow. Sir, my voice is too loud. Sir, my voice is very boring. Sir, my voice is very soft." Another important aspect I encourage is understanding why you speak the way you speak, the psychology behind it, the factors that affect the way you speak, the influences that you've had on your life. You know, I share a very embarrassing story with my students. I grew up in the 70s, all right? And one of the first Bollywood films I saw was a horrible film called Raja Jani. It had Dharmendra and Hema Malini in it. I fell in love with Hema Malini in that film, and my love affair with her continues to this day. But what I did not know, what I did not realize, that I was beginning to talk like Hema ji. I was speaking like this, and my friends used to tease me and drag me like, "ये तुम कैसे बात कर रहे हो? ऐसे क्यों बात कर रहे हो तुम?" You know, and I used to fight back. But then I realized that subconsciously, because I idolized her so much, I wanted to be Hema Malini.
Oh.
So it's only when I understood that, then I said, no, I am a full functioning male. You know, I was not letting my voice as a male come out because I wanted to be Hema Malini. So once I understood that, then I said, no, A, I'm a male, and B, if I want to be an actor, a working actor and a voice actor, I can't do that. You know, so, but most people I find are not willing to take that trouble to dig inside and find out what is going on. Why am I speaking softly? Why am I not letting my voice project? Why am I speaking too fast? Am I in a hurry to reach somewhere, to achieve something, to achieve some goal? You know, so that is another thing, understanding psychologically why you speak the way you speak. Because once you understand that, and then you couple that with all the various skills, breathing technique, articulation exercises, projection, modulation, intonation, you know, then everything comes together. So these are the things that I share with my students at Speakology. Finding your voice and exploring, expanding, and exploiting your entire vocal range. We have quite a large vocal range, but we use only this much of it. Most of us use only this much when we have this much to play with, you know, and it also comes from laziness. And basically also in India, I'm most, well, I don't know whether I'm generalizing and it's the right thing to say, but our most common languages of communication are Hindi and English.
Yes.
So very often we are thinking in Hindi, but we are speaking in English. So you will hear a lot of regional influences. So I help people understand, you know, that when you are speaking, see, basically mispronunciation leads to miscommunication, leads to misunderstanding.
True.
You know, and we don't want misunderstandings in our communication. So I help people understand that you need to do justice to the language that you're choosing to communicate in. If I say something, if I say to you, "Ha, main batata hu," you will laugh, right?
Right.
Because it's not batata hu means something else, and main batata hu is two different things. But people whose first language is let's say English might make that mistake.
Yes.
So understanding the language, and it's basically the placement of vowels and consonants in your articulators. So doing justice to the language you choose you choose to communicate, and it's not to make you ashamed or awkward. Oh, mera Marathi accent hai, ya Hindi accent hai, ya Gujju accent hai. I said no. This is who we are as Indians. We are a wonderful, diverse culture. It's so many colors, and it's beautiful, and we should be proud of that. But if you want to be a voice artist, if you want to be a good speaker, forget about being a voice artist or an actor. You know, in all fields of life and everywhere, you need to be able to communicate properly. So there is no miscommunication. Now I'm speaking to you in English. This is how I need to speak. So there is no miscommunication. Now I'm speaking to you in Hindi. This is how I pronounce the words. It's just that. So these are what I teach in Speakology.
So absolutely right. Like this particular point, regional accent, that is coming from so many parts of India, right? So, sir, may I know the duration of that, how frequently it is conducted, the workshops?
Okay, so mine is an 8-day workshop,
Okay.
and each session is about 3 hours. So that's
Okay.
three, it's 24 hours, spread over 8 days. And I try to do a workshop every 3 months, really. So I do only about 4 or 5 workshops in a year, also because of my other work
Of course.
appointments and things like that, you know. I mean, out of all the things that I do, I really find teaching the most fulfilling and rewarding thing from all the things that I do, you know, acting or singing or theater or anything. I really enjoy teaching, especially when I find students having their little aha moments and they say, "Oh my God, I've been doing this wrong all my life." You know, and it kind of changes the way they think about their voices, or they discover their own voices, and it opens up aspects of them that they didn't think they were capable of. They didn't realize that they had that kind of potential in their, you know. So I find that extremely rewarding, and so many of my students still stay in touch with me, and I encourage them, look, if you need help, if there's any query, if there's anything you're stuck with, please stay in touch with me, and if I can help, I will help.
Great, sir. So, of course, all those people who are listening to this episode, watching this episode, but one particular, I can say for some people, restriction that it is only conducted offline, right? Or
Yes. I don't know whether I'm old school. During the pandemic, I was teaching online, but that's because we didn't have any other option.
okay.
One of the advantages of working online is that I can teach anywhere, all around the world. But for me, it's very important to have that physical energy in a room.
Yes.
And
true.
also another thing that I encourage is working in a group. Because I say when you work in a group, you feed off other people's energy. It's a give and take. You know, this human contact, this human connection is very important for me. Also because I said I work a lot with breathing technique. I need to feel people's rib cage. When you're breathing, I need to put my hands around your rib cage and feel it. I need you to put your arms and your hands around someone else's rib cage and see how it operates. And you cannot do this with this kind of thing, you know. Also, I find that when I'm working with modulation, there are many frequencies of the voice that I cannot pick up when I'm doing it this way, you know. So I encourage working in a group scenario, and I never want to let go of that physical human connection. And then you're listening to each other, you know, you're listening to each other. That is another very, very, very important thing, Harsh, that I emphasize on, and I nag my students. I said, okay, you've come here to learn how to improve your voice. You've come here to learn how to speak. But I want you to learn, before anything else, I want you to learn how to listen.
True.
And that's something that we do not do. We do not listen to each other. That is a skill that is dying. Because I'm so full of my own agenda. I have to leave at 12 o'clock. Oh shit, I'm getting late. And I'm Asif Ali Beg, and I have done 10 plays, and I've done 20 films, and I've done this and I've done that. Why should I listen to anyone else? You know, so listening for me is very, very, very important. And that's why I encourage people to be in a room, listen to each other, you know, so you can help each other. They can help you, you can help them.
Maybe if they listen to each other, like in some areas you might be weak, or there's some kind of observation that is also going on in terms of that can, enhance your voice acting. A lot of, not just voice acting, a lot of factors are there.
Absolutely, Harsh. You know, there is a saying, when you speak, you say something you already know. But when you listen, you learn something new.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, baat hai. God gave us 2 eyes, 2 ears, but only 1 mouth.
Yes.
So that we could see and hear twice as much as we speak.
Fair enough. So, sir, this particular aspect that your, of course, workshops are conducted offline. See, nothing is better than face-to-face communication. The reason why I was asking, because of course so many people who listen to this podcast, watch this podcast, they have certain queries, and there's so many people are from Gulf countries, and also they keep on asking me. But yeah, nothing is better than offline face-to-face workshops. And so one more thing, in your workshops, like you have been a dubbing director, English dubbing director. So for your students, that's again another benefit, that you have already been into dubbing as a director. So how that experience further, of course, it helps in your coaching. It further improvises that. You can just
How does my dubbing direction improve my skill as a teacher?
as add-on, as an add-on.
That's an interesting question. I've never really thought about that. Well, actually, it's the other way around. It's because I am a teacher, because I am a coach, a voice coach. Very often, I can use my teaching skills in the studio as a
It's the
dubbing.
reverse. It's the reverse.
It's the reverse. Yeah,
Okay.
because when I work as a dubbing director, of course, I don't always have the last say. I'm just hired by the production house or by Netflix as the director. But I try to use a combination of regular dubbing artists and actors from the theater, So when I work with dubbing artists who primarily work in Hindi, see, my dubbing direction work is mainly in English, where Indian content is dubbed in English for the international audience and international market. So then I help them with their English, just the intonation, certain pronunciations, where to take a pause and that kind of thing. And when I work with actors who are not used to dubbing and, the lip sync skills, then I coach them on how to do that, where they need to pause and that kind of thing. So it's really the other way around. I use my skills as a teacher, and the main skill is really learning how to be patient
Yes.
with people who are behind the mic, so that I can get the best performance out of them, Because I know when I started out as a dubbing artist, people who were impatient with me, who were not necessarily nice with me, I know how I felt, And very often when I see potential in some of my students, I call them to the studio to dub, to try them out for incidental characters and all that,
Okay.
And I teach them the skills, the dubbing skills, So
Great.
it's really the other way around.
It's okay. Got it. So, sir, one more thing. This is I can say, a generic common question. It has been from past few episodes. Now, we are stepping into an age where any specific skill, whether it's voice acting, whether it's content writing, or in general, it could be done by a human or it could be done by a machine, and that is artificial intelligence. And your point of view on this particular aspect, that of course in a lot of aspects, in terms of voiceovers, even AI is also stepping into dubbing. There are certain AI tools. So what specific requirement and dedication is, of course, it has been there. Karna hi mehnat to skill craft is pe kaam raha hi hai. But we are stepping into an age where we are also competing with the machines. यहाँ पे आपका सर क्या कहना है इस बारे में?
So really, I have very, very little knowledge about AI, but I know that is a looming threat that is hanging over our heads. In fact, there have been quite a few meetings and discussions and talks about this. I feel that there is no getting away from artificial intelligence. It is the present, and it is going to be the future. So I mean, from the discussions that I've had, what I have learned from that is that the good dubbing artists will survive, and the mediocre ones will not get much work. It's just that there is going to be less work for so many dubbing artists, and that is something that I cannot hide from. I don't know if tomorrow even I will be required in the studio, and it's not just in the dubbing studio. I guess tomorrow, even for my coaching that I do for Speakology, I mean, today with the internet and with this kind of digital coaching that is going on, why would people want to come to my class when they can sit at home in their night clothes and do a coaching class online? So I mean, I'm just making hay while the sun shines. I'm enjoying it while it's still not in my face, but it is there, looming large in front of me. And tomorrow they may say, "Oh, Asif Ali Beg, we don't need you to be dubbing director, and we don't need your Speakology class. So thank you." I mean, that is my thought on it. while people still want me in the studio and while people still want me as a voice coach, I'm available. Tomorrow it may not be there, and I will just have to surrender to that. You cannot compete with technology. You cannot.
Certainly, sir, but of course, some things are irreplaceable, like, which is what my perception is.
I mean, there is no replacing the human voice. But technology is coming so close to the human voice that today it is difficult, very difficult to discern. I mean, I'm going to watch a concert in a few months. I'm going to London to watch a concert of my favorite band. Okay, I don't think many of the youngsters will have heard of them. It's a band called ABBA. They're a very classic, popular band from Sweden. Now, they are a band. The band has 2 boys and 2 girls. I don't know whether you ever heard the song "Mamma Mia." Mamma
Yes.
Mia, here I go again. It was made in Hindi also in Bollywood. Anyway, so they are all old now. They're almost like they're all in their late 70s, and they cannot go on stage to perform. So they've created a whole concert with digital, using AI, creating digital avatars of themselves, and they've created a whole concert which is the rage in London. So while it is good because people who have not seen ABBA live in concert will now get to see them in concert thanks to AI and this technology, so it has its benefits. It definitely has its benefits. I mean, artists who are dead and gone, the Beatles and Elvis, they are creating digital versions of them through AI and putting up concerts so people can go and watch that.
Creativity is like further, like it's always alive. Like I've seen so many current present songs in voices of Kishore Kumar Saab, Rafi Saab, late with great singers like these.
So there you go. So it's wonderful. I would love to hear a new Kishore Kumar song. I believe they've even done a new song by KK, the guy who passed away unfortunately last year. So I mean, I would love to hear a new KK song, But so it definitely has its advantages, and you cannot compete with that. You can't do anything about that. I mean, yes, nothing like having the real person stand there live in front of you and sing.
So,
I mean, but I don't know much beyond this. I don't know much about how AI works, but I find it fascinating. At the same time, I mean, once somebody showed me how through AI you could write a script. Okay, write me a script like Oppenheimer. And in 5 minutes, a script appeared. So it's fascinating to watch that, but I don't know what's going to happen here to the human brain.
yes.
I mean, yes, it is the human brain itself that has created this artificial brain.
Yes.
But at the same time, so many people who are using that artificial intelligence, what's going to happen to their own intelligence?
Creativity.
Yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, we had calculators. So we became so dependent on calculators, we forgot how to add up 4 plus 4 or 10, what is 10 into 12? Because we could do it on a calculator. So obviously the human brain is slowly, I think, going to degenerate.
Certainly. It is like one of the required skill. Even now, what is happening in the companies, they are hiring new people. So they prefer people who are good in AI because वो इतना आधे घंटे का काम 10 मिनट में करके दे सकते हैं. But that's the factor. But it's skilling creativity and a lot of aspects are there. And of course, you will be aware that there are so many conferences, specifically AI voicing. There are conferences going on. It happened in the Association of Voice Artists. There were several conferences. And further, I would like to tell my viewers and listeners. So if you can just elaborate about, you received an award from Association of Voice Artists. Maybe it was last year. अगर आप थोड़ा बता सकते हो उसके बारे में.
The Association of Voice Artists was really being very kind to me. Well, some years ago, I dubbed for a character called Edna in a film called The Incredibles.
Okay.
The Hindi title was Hum Hai Lajawab or something
Hum Hai
like that.
Lajawab. Yes.
Hum Hai Lajawab. And Shah Rukh Khan played Mr. Incredible, and I played Edna, who was a female character. So I received an award from the Association of Voice Artists for that performance because they found it the most innovative use of voice acting or voice skills or voice vocal technique. So that was the award. And even recently they gave me an award just basically for my contribution to the industry. So I think they were just being very kind to me, because I mean, there are so many. Let me just tell your listeners that I am not the most sought after voice artist. I am not running from one studio to the other. There are some artists who are so excellent at what they do. They can switch from one voice to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And they are running from one studio to the next, doing voiceovers and voice acting and voice dubbing every day.
Every day.
You know? So I was very surprised, but very thankful and humbled that they decided to give me this award. Really, I'm not the most popular voice artist, but yes, I do a lot of work, and it's fun work. You know, I always count my blessings and say I get paid to have fun.
And so recently, I also there was an advertisement. There's a commercial I saw you in Rummy Circle.
So I mean, that's part of the whole acting business, and you get calls, audition calls to audition for TV commercials. I've done quite a few TV commercials in the past. In fact, this ad came after a long time, and it was just another day of work for me.
So, anyway, so one thing about your coaching, your workshop, Speakology, in generic, like if people are interested to enroll for that, what is the tentative way to reach out to you? If you can just mention that, I'll specifically share the details in the description of this episode.
Absolutely. I mean, social media, I'm on social media as Asif Ali Beg on Instagram, Facebook. And then you can DM me.
Okay.
Yeah. I also have my Speakology. I have a web page. You just type in Asif Ali Beg Speakology, or you just type in Speakology and it'll show up.
It will show up, Speakology, and maybe, of course, you're there on social media, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, LinkedIn, in fact.
Yes, LinkedIn also.
All right, so sir, it was great to have you on Voice Over Par Charcha. Great episode, great learnings, and you're doing an awesome. You're an inspiration, sir. Like in terms of being a voice actor, a lot of aspects, and it was great to have you, sir, on Voice Over Par Charcha.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I made sense in what I said.
Of course, sir, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, and I hope that you say that I'm an inspiration, but you know, in different ways, Harsh, each of us should strive to inspire other people.
Yes.
You know, because I feel that we live in such troubled times. It's important to be a good influence on other people. It's like
Yes.
It's like a little flame. You carry a light within you, and then I pass the light on to you. Today, you've passed a little light on to me by inviting me to be on your show. And then both of us, between us, we will pass the light on to the people who are listening.
Listening to this.
And then they pass, and then there will be more light in the world rather than darkness. I feel that is very, very more important than anything else. You know, if we learn to speak better, relationships will improve and the world will be a better place.
Right. Absolutely true, sir. Absolutely
Yeah.
true.
Okay. So thank you once again for having me, and all the very best to you and your show and to everyone who's listening in.
Thank you so much, sir.